We live in 4 dimensions. I think the idea of a timeline is deceptive. It's oversimplified, and it gives us this false idea that time runs like an arrow going left to right or right to left, depending on which way you think is forward. And I believe, I know that I live in 4D. And the reason why I know this is because I've had the unique perspective of just discovering my timeline out of order. And I might be talking in contradictory terms here but kind of like Newtonian physics and, the theory of relativity, and, one works on one scale, the other works on another scale. So I'm going to be like toggling back and forth between conflicting terms, but, I'm not that smart. At least I know that. Anyway, so 4D, living in 4D for me, what that means right now, and this is a very new, I'm just talking out loud now, just off the cuff. I learned something yesterday, and it shifts my whole being, and every atom in my body has to kind of step to the right or step to the left in order to allow this new information in, and kind of, reevaluate and recenter and, add the information to the file and allow things to shift because of that new entry. And this has happened to me. This is my whole life, actually. And the reason why is what I really want to focus on as I go forward with a project is the idea of memory. And memory and forgetfulness, and those things have been a very large part of my life. And I've talked about this at length in other podcasts, but my father developed Alzheimer's when I was very young. So as I was building brain matter and becoming a, 10, 11-year-old into teen years, he was losing his memories. And so we were living this, life of, it's not conflict, but contrast. And at the same time, there was misinformation given to me, and, his memory was declining. I was trying to learn how to be a person in the world while all this was happening. So all my chess pieces were just kind of set on the board at random. And I've had to make the connections between them and make the moves that make sense with this just random scattering of facts and experiences. And so anyway, what I learned yesterday was that I learned about a very specific incident. But what was more important about that specific incident was the fact that I don't remember it at all. And I was told about this incident that happened, and I don't even have sometimes you'll have some sort of reaction to it, like, oh, that sounds familiar. Or, oh, when you say that, I feel like, oh yeah, maybe I do remember that. Or, or I remember it differently or something, but nothing, absolutely nothing. I have zero memory, zero muscle memory of it, zero, nothing that I can put a finger on, even when I'm trying. So to me, that shifts everything about, at least about what I remember and what I'm clearly not remembering. So the incident was one of trauma. I guess it was told to me that my father, he would get really angry. He was losing his memory, losing his control over his own life. He he was a World War II vet and he got his leg blown off by a mortar. So PTSD, mix all those things in, and it had to have been just crazy for him. Anyway, apparently he thought that I was making fun of him for some reason. I was a kid, and I was told that it was probably around 11, 12, I don't know, that he misinterpreted something, and he, I guess, grabbed me, lifted me up, and slammed me against a door because he thought that I was making fun of him, which to me, the way I remember living with my father was I was his ally, and I would help him get through every single one of his days. And I was the one, and I've said this, I've touted this in my podcast, like I was the one that was on his side. I was the one by his side. I'm the one who made sure that he got fed each day and, could figure out how to use the TV remote. That was my role, and I felt really proud of that. Like, he trusted me. Even as he was losing his mind, he trusted me. But apparently that is false. And that's only one memory that I've erased from my brain. So what about the other ones? Are there other ones? What have I told myself? What is my young mind? What did my young mind tell myself or erase just to get through each moment? That's some mind-boggling shit. I thought I had a handle on all of this, like all these memories. I could repeat them, because I've had to tell this story over and over and over again. I had every guidance counselor following me around the school building when I was that age, making sure I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I got it all. It's all handled. It's all sorted. It's all categorized in my mind. That's wrong. Blows my mind. Anyway, that's the focus. That's what I want to do. I want to go forward and with this project that is like just sitting at the threshold and just doesn't have that, that last, kick in the ass out the door. This is it. Is where memory and mind, where that intersects and how they work with each other. And, in a very unique situation where a child was in charge of the well-being of an adult who was losing their memory. That's the focus. I think there's a lot there and a lot that I'm going to discover as I go through this process. And back to the 4D concept, my life, personally, speaking at a personal level, has not been an arrow going straight forward. It has gone back. It has done, the switchback. It has gained new knowledge and applied it. Gained new knowledge, applied it. Filling out, it's like a helix. It's got so much shape and depth. And I think that's a positive thing. I think it's an opportunity to look at something like that and see what comes of it. That's all. I got to get to work. Happy Monday.